A little while ago, I did a challenge where I had to get 100 kills using only the scout and heavy disguise. I have to say the ending was kind of bad and felt a little empty. And that was my intention. I wanted the ending to be a separate video about what I learned from this challenge, and my final thoughts on this. So, get ready to fall asleep to my really monotone voice as I explain what I learned from my time using bad disguises. My playstyle of spy mainly revolves around disguise acting. And when I mean it mainly revolves around disguise acting, I mean I almost never drop the act. I am almost always acting like I'm someone else when I'm playing as spy. Being sneaky is still a huge factor, but I don't usually rely on invisibility as much as other spies, which leads to some problems. Usually I just use invisibility to get into a position to act in, and then use it to hurry up and find a new position after I get a stab. I often get overly confident in my disguise acting, and instead of running away, I'm like, I can just disguise act my way out of this. And it only works 50% of the time. With the scout disguise, it's hard to disguise act because of how obvious it is, and with the heavy disguise I have to hope that my target will either stand still or walk in front of me before they notice something's wrong. So, as you can guess, I started utilizing my invisibility a lot more instead of relying on disguise acting. I started relying on my ability to go unnoticed. I would stay invisible for long periods of time before I made a play. I already play spy pretty strategically, but I started to play spy more strategically than I already do. This challenge has had a permanent effect on my playstyle, whereas I used to be 60% disguise acting and 40% cloak management. I would say I'm now 50-50. I've started to utilize my cloak more, and I've also noticed I've been dying less. Don't get me wrong, disguise acting is my favorite part about playing spy. But I think the disguise act your way through everything mentality I had once was the main thing that was holding me back. I think that any spy who's looking to improve their cloak management should try out this challenge. It's taught me a lot about the way I play spy and how I can improve. Also, your disguise matters. This was already something I knew, but this challenge really amplified that statement to me. There were many times where I could have easily fooled people and gotten a few kills if I had a more believable or faster disguise. Usually when I'm choosing my disguise, I take a lot of things into consideration. Am I in the back lines or the front lines? Would it make sense for my disguise to be here? How many people are around? Is the person I want to disguise as around? How distracted is the enemy? How easily could I fool them? Usually the classes you find on the front lines are slower and will only spy check players who don't seem to be fighting. So I will choose a slower disguise that is often found fighting. In the back lines, most players have more time to spy check and are usually heading to the front lines. So I will choose a faster but still believable disguise to catch up with people and be able to make my moves quicker. In this challenge, I was forced to only use the slowest and most believable disguise, and the fastest but least convincing disguise. This led me to use the tactics and knowledge I had to use the heavy disguise mainly in the front lines and the scout disguise mainly in the back lines. So with my knowledge of disguise acting, this challenge wasn't completely miserable, but it was still pretty miserable. I know some of you think the scout disguise is good or the best disguise. If you're one of those people, I'm not going to yell at you for it. It's your opinion. But for my playstyle, Scout is the worst disguise I could possibly choose. Once again, I have a whole video planned explaining why I think it's bad. And in the intro of the challenge, I explained it a tiny bit. Also, some of you may make the argument that Scout disguise is really good for Highlander because disguises don't fool good players, and you're just a filthy casual. First off, I do play Highlander. Second, the statement disguises don't fool good players is bullshit. I do it all the time. And every time I've given the scout disguise a try in Highlander, I always get caught. So don't even bring up the Highlander argument with me. But anyway, that about wraps up the video. This was pretty short, but I kind of wanted to hurry and get all the videos I have promised out of the way, so I can move on to other things. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more content. Have an amazing day, and I will see you all later. Meow.